the project and development, once it meets all regulatory approvals, we encourage Superior Limited to meet with the various stakeholders within the communities close to the development, including the fisher folk and the village council, and to take their feedback into the consideration of their master plan. I now will hand you over to Mr. Demi John, who will go into more depth on some of the things that we would like to have going. Go ahead, Mr. John.
Good morning, all. Coming out of the last consultation we had at the Boko Community Center, there was a number of individuals, mainly the Surfers Association, the Turtle, the SOS people, and also the archaeological people, mainly the people from the National Trust represented in that meeting, had serious concerns about the project. And I do understand their concerns. We do understand that as long as you are having a major development like that, you will have some disturbance of the natural and the ecosystem. So again, as the chairman just indicated, we would like to ensure when we are having the final designs for the hotel that the developers Superior Limited, they take all of that into consideration. But I have to say, from a business point of view, we have to look at what we have lost in Tobago in recent times and over the last few years in terms of hotel development, because some people in Tobago took the position that they did not want any development on the island. We cannot go forward like that anymore. We need direct investment, foreign investment on the island. We need hotel development on the island to move our hotel product forward. I just came back from CTO conference. Tourism in the Caribbean has grown last year by 54%, and Tobago is literally at the end of the barrel. We are struggling. Other countries are doing exceptionally well in tourism, and we have to come out of the mindset that we do not want any major development on the island. We cannot continue like that. If we are competing with the rest of the Caribbean, everybody has sea, sand, everybody have beaches, everybody have what we have to offer. But at the end of the day, people are not coming to the island because, one, we do not have direct airlift for most of the source markets, and the airlines are telling us that we do not have the 5-star and the upper star, the 5 and 4 and 5-star rooms that they are requiring. So we need the development. We have lost in recent time. We had in Kings Bay, Walt Disney wanted to put down the cruise ship hub here. We lost that. In Corland, Caribbean Cruise Line wanted to put down a cruise ship hub in Corland. We lost that. Bonaccord Estate, Four Seasons, wanted to do their project in Tobago. We lost that. Sandals on the Boko Estate, we lost that because of the negative publicity. We lost the marina. Now we have Marriott, and a Trinidad investor is willing to put forward $500 million on the table. That is something we cannot ignore. We just cannot ignore and say we do not want development. The assembly is burdened by employment. The last statistics was about 73% in terms of the employment figures for the assembly. That is unrealistic, and it cannot continue. We need the private sector to come in and stand up and run the economy of Tobago. All successful economies around the world, the private sector is the ones that lead the economy. So we have to take serious in terms of development, in terms of our hotel plans, because I'll tell you something. A lot of other investors is looking at Tobago at this point in time. They are looking to see what we do with this Marriott project. We are not saying that the people who are the surfers is not important. We are not saying that the turtle people are not important. Everybody needs to work hand in hand. So this morning I call on all the associations that is objecting to the project. We need to call Superior and request an urgent meeting, because just saying no to the project is not an option. We are saying we support development on the island, but you have to have development in cohesion with the environment, with protecting the Tobago natural resources. So we need to not just say no, we need to say we are willing to talk. And everybody have to sit around. This is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than the chamber, bigger than the dive association, bigger than the hotel association, bigger than everybody in Tobago. What this needs a collaborative approach by central government, and I'm calling on the Minister of Tourism to meet with the Secretary for Tourism, to meet with the Hotel Association, to meet with the Chamber of Commerce, the Tobago Division, the Divers Association, to come to Tobago, even the Minister of Trade, which this project is under, to come to Tobago and say, listen, we need to have some serious discussion. Our economy is failing in Tobago, and private sector involvement have to take precedence from now on, right? We have the spin-off. What will happen if we have this hotel? Who will fill this hotel? Who are the people who will benefit from this hotel? We have the fisher folk. They will benefit. We have the farmers. They will benefit. The bed and breakfast people, because not everybody who comes on the flights that come into Marriott will go to Marriott. We have the taxi men, the maxi taxi operators, the pastors and priests who will conduct weddings on the island. They will also benefit. We have staff. We have over 250 proposed permanent employment in this hotel. We cannot just turn our blind eye to that and say we do not want the hotel, right? We have over 750 people is proposed to be employed in the construction phase. We have the businesses on the island that will benefit, the supermarket, the man on the street, the man who making pone, the man who making bread. They will also benefit. Even though they are not selling directly to the hotel, they will sell to the staff. They will sell to the other small guest houses around. So we have to look at the spin-off. So you're looking at the staff who is going to be considered the cleaners, the maids, etc. You're looking at the local tour operators who are going to carry people on tours, rainforest tours, diving tours. We have one of the largest brain coral in the world. You could understand what happened to the dive industry, what will happen to the dive industry. We have to look at Marriott is mostly a North America brand. For years, we in Tobago been trying to get into the North America market. We cannot just turn a blind eye and say no. We have to build this hotel in hand with everybody on the island, all the associations, and we cannot just say we do not want a Marriott hotel on the island. We have to move away from that, and I'm calling on all parties involved to come together. Let us sit down. The chamber will be between the chamber, the hotel association, and the dive association. We will be the mediators. We will take the time, and we will say Superior on one side, the government on one side, the THA on one side, and let us sit down, because we have to seriously move the economy. Everywhere we go in the world, you're hearing the same thing over and over. Tobago and Tobagonians do not want development. And that is what the international investors are telling us. We just came back from Ghana. The Minister of Trade carried an entire contingent to Ghana. The first thing they are talking about Tobago is Tobago do not want development. We just came back from CTO conference in Grenada. Same concerns. People are concerned that Tobago do not want development. We cannot sit down and wait on a transfer from the national government anymore. We have to pay our way. We have to contribute to the purse of the coffers of the government, and we have to look at investment on the island. So, Mr. Chair, that is what I have to say, and I hope that we understand what is at stake.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, for that breakdown and enlightening remarks. In summing up, I just would like to endorse and emphasize the reason behind the press conference, indicating that is a local investor with his money from Trinidad invested in Tobago. We needed a game changer. We have the game changer. Let's take full advantage of the game changer. If there's any concern from the various associations, we sure can meet with the developer. We, the Chamber, is more than willing to accommodate you at our office here, and we could sit and talk about all the issues or challenges you may encounter. So we asking the environmental folks, we're asking on all the associations, whether it's the village councils, we are more than willing to entertain you and entertain your conversation so that we can meet with Superior Hotel management and discuss the country concern reference to development. And again, we have our Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association. We also have our Dive Association fully endorsing this project, as I indicated, with the conditions that goes with it, the environmental conditions and the other conditions that may come with it. So I now go on to the floor to ask any questions that you may have, so we'll be able to explain. We have all the members here at the head table, and you can choose any one of us to explain any concern you may have from any party within the community.
Is crime affecting the Tobago business community? We are up to double digits in terms of murders on the island.
Crime is a big concern for us as a business community. We are much concerned about the story being told when there is a murder on the island. I knew that the Chief Sec indicated some measures dealing with the community and also the division of the Department of Safety. That's something banding around for the last 2 years, and I could assure you that we fully support the Tobago Assembly in that aspect of creating that Department of Safety that could really put some kind of a stop to what's happening within some of our communities. So we are much concerned, Liz, about the crime on the island, and then we have some initiatives coming up ourselves, and we will share that with the media on our way going forward.
Do you think Tobago has lost the war on crime?
No, we haven't lost the law at all. We haven't lost the war on crime at all. There is 1 and 2 entities that decide to raise their heads, and we're going to put them back down and let it go sleeping, because that is what was happening all the time. They were sleeping, and we're going to put them to sleep for a very long time, so they don't need to raise their head here anymore. Tobago don't need that at this moment.
Now, for the Public Security Department, the Chief Secretary is rolling out, as part of that was private security on the island and bringing everybody to one table. Have you been, as a chamber, been part of those discussions?
We had a couple meetings with the Chief Sec pertaining to security on the island. Remember, policing and security is national security remit, but we as an island, we met with him as a chamber, and we discussed a couple things, and I know we're due to have a meeting coming up soon, so we will lend support to the THA in dealing with the softer aspect of crime, which is the community and the folks within the community. All the social programs that we could aid in, we as a Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce is willing and more than willing to assist in any aspect of that community project.
All right, and then in terms of the Marriott project, how do we ensure that the construction and the designs and all of that, how do we ensure that it is environmentally sound? And if it is going to compromise the environment in some kind of way, what measures is the Chambers prepared to take?
Well, one of the things we were proposing, and it was in one of our meetings, that throughout the construction process, if the Superior can set up a team, a monitoring team that comprises of environmentalists, comprises of members of the community and the business community, so that we can monitor the project going forward to ensure that it stays within some of the things that they stated that they were going to do. I think that was one of the ideas we mentioned at one of our meetings. So we will sit with Superior to ensure that they stay within the guidelines and the regulatory works of the island.
One of the things that the WASA executives have said is that the Column Reservoir continues to show a deficit in its water supply. That's the area that feeds the tourism establishments within that zone. I was wondering, has the hotels come to you with regards to their complaints or challenges with regards to finding water even for the guests when they arrive?
Well, I think you read some of our notes from last night. We had a meeting last night, and Mr. Williams, Brian Williams from the Tobago, from WASA here in Tobago, wanted to meet with us. So we hope to meet with him sometime later on this week or early next week to discuss an overall plan for water on the island for Tobago, for hotel development, etc. So it was a comprehensive plan, and WASA did meet out to us, and we're definitely going to meet with them to discuss that entire project in terms of water on the island.
But have you received any concerns from hotels, immediate concerns of a lack of water?
Not to my point. I don't know if the Hotel Association, did you all get any feedback or any challenges with
Well,
water?
there have been challenges on the island as a whole, but everyone has been fortunate enough to be able to work with WASA.
We want to hear that on
All right. So what she indicated that there have been challenges on the whole, but everyone so far have indicated that they're managing the process going forward, because we know we're coming out of the dry season and we're going into the wet season. And based on the forecast I got this morning, I think the meteorological survey, they sent some forecasting, and we're not looking too bad in terms of water coming in. So I think that's a plus for us. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Any other questions? Any questions on the airport project? I know no one is asking about the airport, because the airport project is due to completion by
next year.
By next year, and so we long awaiting how we can get a tour of the facility so that we could see how Tobagonians could take full advantage of the opportunities at the airport. Now, having an airport and no airlift or no guests is a sad thing. So hence the reason why all development have to go together. So we're having a nice airport, brand new airport, and we will need to have flights, we need to have airlifts, so we need to encourage the airlines to come to the island. And when they do come, where they're going to stay? All right, some guys need first-class hotels, some need other classes of hotels, so hence the reason why we definitely need the development on the island and to move things going forward. Yep.
I know that you
All these challenges that have happened in Tobago, all these incidents and events and stuff like that, what contributes the biggest setback to the business community in either investments or growing? What exactly is the biggest problem?
Well, as you all know, that Foreign Investment Act, we need to do something about it. And I think it's time we get rid of it. And I think that's all. Just get rid of it so that we could attract those investments into the island. Not only hotels, but other investors want to come into the island. And I think the Foreign Investment Act is something that we should definitely look at, and look at it with a matter of concern to either get rid of it immediately so that we could really attract those big players and get a game changer going for us on the island.
But you guys been saying that for like more than a decade, but have you had any sort of positive movement, conversation in the last little bit to say that, yes, we are moving towards dealing with this Foreign Investment Act once and for all?
Yes, most definitely. Our last meeting with the Tobago Assembly, we will guarantee that something positive is going to happen, reference the Act. So we await the Chief Sec. We give him until month end to give us a final update on what's happening with the Act, because he guarantees us that we definitely get something happening with that Act.
I know that there was talk before, recently there was talk about Sandals returning, and I know that the Chamber also held the talks with respect to Sandals returning to Tobago. Could you tell us about that?
We welcome all players in the field, whether sandals, slippers, we welcome everybody. We welcome all players within the field. And so, I mean, if Sanders willing to return, if any one of them willing to come back and have conversation with Tobago, we welcome, we open our arms to all investors, whether it's hotel investors or other investors. the Tobago is open for business, and we at the Chamber, as I can see the joint press conference here, the Hotel Association, the Divers Association, we welcome all investment. Please come to Tobago. We're open for business.
The Firearm Users Act, Port of Spain has already signaled that changes are coming to that piece of legislation. Has your chamber looked at those changes, and what exactly is the feedback when it comes to those changes?
The changes towards the
Firearm Users Act.
The Firearm Users Act is something that we looked at. There are some issues. The spirit of the legislation is great, but when we look at the details, there are some things of much concern, and we would like to have some dialogue on that with the Minister of National Security or his representative so we can give our input into it. It's something of great concern. The spirit of the legislation is good, but then coming down to the nitty-gritty of the legislation, there are some things inside they will be kind of worried about, like lodging your firearm and not going into different places. So you can imagine you're moving with your firearm and you have to leave it somewhere, and then you go into the bank and there is the robbery in the bank. What will you do? Cry, right? Because you can't do anything. So those are things that you have to look at. So if you're a firearm user and you're carrying a firearm, and you're neglecting places that I can go, whether it's a government business or government offices, you can know what happened. If I know that you're going to give up the firearm to get in there, there's the opportunity for things to happen. Because I don't think some of these places provide adequate security to protect you and your property.
Can you give an update also on the U.S. currency availability for the business community?
Well, the Exim Bank, through the Ministry of Finance, they were putting a mechanism in place for the business community. And that, as I can say, that is well ahead of schedule. So that mechanism is being put in place to assist the business, and all business. I'm talking about small business, not the large ones, not the big guys, the small ones like ourselves. Exim Bank is putting things in place to assist us. So all the small business, those who need US, probably 1,000, 2,000 US for business, etc., we are more than welcome. The Exim Bank is putting things in place for such.
But is there a problem now? Is there a lack of US currency for the business sector to operate in Tobago?
Well,
Do you have any concerns?
But those in our sector, the manufacturing, we still have access to US through Exim Bank. And so we have a little bit of ease, because if you're into manufacturing, you still could have the access to it. But those who traveling, those who spending the credit card, those who going abroad, yes, there's a bit of restriction there. But once you're doing business, the bank is more than welcome, and Exim Bank is more than welcome to assist you in gaining US to get your local products or your supplies to make into the final product as you so desire.
From time to time you have met with members of central government. What's next in terms of who are you going to be meeting with? Is Minister of Finance one of the names on the table?
The Minister of Finance was definitely one on the table. Also, my Vice Chairman mentioned the Tourism Minister as one that we definitely have to meet, because we want to see the endorsement from the central government to come and see us, see Superior Hotels, see the villagers, and see the Chamber, see the other hotels association, so that we can talk about the island development on a whole, and we don't go into different corners and speak about the development of the island. So we want to sit around one table where the Division of Tourism, the Minister of Tourism, and the stakeholders sit together, and we come up with one solution going forward in terms of development of the product tourism on the island.
Next month is budget, and it will be the Chief Secretary's last budget in terms of him as Finance Secretary. What is at the top of your agenda?
Well, we have a budget meeting coming up next month, early next month, so that we could talk about a couple of things that we want to see. But tourism and direct investment plays a very important part in going forward on the island. As you can see, the island is in a state where there may be some challenges by most of the players on the island. So hence the reason why we need that trust, we need that game changer to move things going on, have things happening on the island. Summer is upon us, July, August, and then we're going straight into the Tobago Carnival. So let's see how we could push to get the summer looking meaning for some of the business on the island. I spoke to a couple small business on the island, and they say things is just like flat. It's not exciting for them. All right? So we want to get that excitement. We want to get that excitement on the island in terms of business, so that we could fill those hotel rooms, we could get those vendors making money once more, and get all those restaurants and bars filled. Well, I endorse the same thing the Prime Minister endorsed. It's not a THA police. Let's look at it. In the city of Port of Spain, there are police. There's Port of Spain City Police, there's San Fernando City Police, there are Borough Police, all out of Trinidad. So it's the same thing Tobago is developing. So we will have the same format. These police will have the powers of a state constable, like estate constables, and they will carry on the remit under the Commissioner of Police. It's not to say they have a different person they're going to play. They're all going to get their powers coming from the Commissioner, come all the way down. The example is right in Trinidad. The city of Port of Spain have their own police. The city of San Fernando have their own police. Same thing with Arima and the borough Chaguanas. They are borough police, and a lot of them. So what we're trying to do is put something like that in place in Tobago so that we could deal with the domestic things. The guys are all the little blocks and all the little areas. Our policing could help in those little small areas, in Charlottesville, in Speyside, in all these remote areas, Lansomy. I mean, the normal police is not going all the way. The normal police could play other part within the island security, but let the normal domestic police deal with all these small areas to see about the beaches and seeing all those entrances that on unprotected beaches and where people come in and out and we don't know why we're sleeping at nights.
You know, in the past, you know, when I've had a meeting with the Commissioner of Police and Christopher, but we see the crime situation in Tobago continues to escalate. Are you all planning to meet with her again, or to also encourage or call for a meeting with her and the Chief Secretary, as well as members of the business community? What are your plans to really highlight the concerns that continue here in Tobago to that supply?
As you speak, we the head of our security committee, Mr. Jones, is meeting with the ACP Hazel to treat with the outcomes from that meeting. So we didn't forget the information given to us throughout that meeting. And so we are going to hold the ACP Hazel now. We tell Hazel, listen to me, work over, time to get down to business now, right? So they were at a bit rest, sleep, and we tell them, hey, it's time to get down to business because we need meaningful things happening on the island. We ask about different teams because the thing is that they get hot and cold. So as soon as something happening, everybody all over the place, roadblocks, and we stop in, and then after 2 months, everything die down and everything go. So we tell them, listen to me, it cannot be. It had to be sustainable crime fighting throughout. So hence the reason why he decided to meet with us, and we're going to talk about sustainable crime fighting throughout the island and not the hot and cool scenario as happening presently. They're still negotiating with the ACP, and Mr. Ken Jones is still negotiating with him so that they can meet and really finalize some of the things that they want to put in place.
I know previously there was a significant amount of money, outstanding for contractors. I know the Chief Secretary, some monies were paid. Could you tell us how much monies were paid and how much remains outstanding?
Well, what I can say is that most of the contractors got, because my phone stopped ringing, so most of the contractors got money. I don't know how much money they got, but my phone stopped ringing, so I assume most of them got money. And so they are a bit settled for the time being. So hence the reason going forward, they will probably have trickle payments going forward. But most of them got money because my phone stopped ringing. I'm not getting any contractor calling me anymore. So I say thanks to the THA for helping out, and we want them to continue paying because there are other contractors, there are other suppliers that need payments, and I want them to continue paying these suppliers and contractors going forward. Because we have a list there of some suppliers indicating how much funds the THA owes. Those are normal suppliers that we want them to look at, and I know there's a new batch of administrators, and I hope these new batch of administrators look into the debt servicing of the different divisions, because some divisions have huge debts, and they need to service some of these debts. These are the normal suppliers to the THA, and not contractors per se.
On that, and I know the THA recently launched their e-tender platform. What is the Chamber's view on this new system being implemented here in Tobago?
I fully endorse it. Transparency, we can see it from a mile off. No more hiding at tenders, no more peeping at tenders, and all the things that goes with tenders that we heard about in the past, that's gone. The e-tender is a platform that is transparent in its nature. I've used that before on bid documents, and I see how effective it could be. So no one can play with anything. Everything will have a digital footprint. So if you want to play, you will understand the consequences of you doing anything that is wrong according to the tender rules. Okay.
So what is the good news that this community is proud of that exists right now? Because you have a host of challenges and a
No.
But certainly you should, among that whole mess, good news that the business community is facing. So what is the good news that the business community is facing thus far?
The good news is that I see hope for the island. A joint press conference like this, where I have the Hotel Association, the Hotel and Tourism Association, the divers and other interest players at this table, I felt really, really comfortable knowing that something ahead and something good is happening to Tobago. So let's keep our fingers together and really drive the tourism trust that we so want on the island. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say thanks to Sean. Thanks for anything you guys want to say.
You've said it all.
I said it all. Thank you, and thanks a lot. And thanks to all the other listeners and members of the public, Tobago and international listeners. We want to say thanks, and we realize that Tobago is open for business. Please come. Let's sit and have a conversation. We need your development. Thank you.
Well done, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
All right.
Ready? We're not there yet.